In late September, as the leaves are just hinting at the fall to come, Vision moved into his new residence in Arlington, Virginia, for his new position. As his neighbors will call it, he's the Avengers man in the White House now. Meet George and Nora, Vision's neighbors. George is a mortgage broker, and Nora works in HR. Like many others of the residents in the neighborhood, George and Nora were not originally from the area. Like most, they were once young and eager, ready to save the world. They moved to DC in hopes to pursue that endeavor. But like most, the bills came, the children came, and stability was needed. So they moved to the suburbs where the schooling fit their needs. They are currently bickering, like married couples do. George would rather spend his time doing anything other than introducing himself to a robot, let alone four. It's unnatural. One robot is one thing, but now robots making robots, trying to be people? It's unnatural. They're unnatural. Nora condemns George for saying such things. These are their neighbors after all. Besides, she read that they're not robots. They're synth-somethings, or whatever. Anyway, why does it matter? They're just here to welcome the Visions with a tray of cookies. Excuse me, Vision states, as he smiles from beyond the door. May we help you? The Visions were happy to have company. They had just moved in and were eager to show others what they have done with the place. As George and Nora stepped into the threshold, Vision introduced his wife, Virginia, and his children, Vin and Viv. They're twins. All three respond in kind. A pleasure to meet you, before the tour begins. As you can probably imagine, to be put in a position such as George and Nora would certainly be enough to raise an eyebrow, at the very least. What would a robot's house look like? Would there be food? Would there be a place to sit? Do they even watch TV? All these thoughts peer into the minds of these two people as they take one step after another into the open area. Vision showed them many items that he had collected over the adventures with the Avengers. A stringless Steinway, imported from Wakanda. A gift from the Panther. One of the famed flying water vases of Zen-La. A gift from the Surfer. A lighter used to read the map on the night before D-Day. A gift from the Captain. And lastly, a clipped everbloom, plucked from the side of Mount Wundagore, a gift from the witch. George, Nora, and Vision all stared in wonder as he explained the local myth of the everbloom. The petals could unlock the doors of time. His wife, Virginia, grew unusually quiet. However, no one noticed this. As Vision was called away on Avengers duty, they all said their goodbyes. Perhaps they will meet for brunch sometime at that place next to the Italian place. That would be nice. Perhaps another time. Perhaps another couple. Because at the end of the story, one of the Visions will set Nora and George's house on fire, and they will die in the flames. George's last thoughts will be of Nora, how he found his true love, and how he regrets very little of what came after. Nora's last thoughts will be of the water vase of Zen-La, and she will wonder why it was always empty. In the kitchen, Virginia discarded the cookies into the waste bin and stated that they seemed kind. Vision corrected her. The correct word that she was looking for is nice. She should have said, they seemed nice. To seem kind is to have the potential to not be kind, to not be good. Nice, however, has a much more flexible connotation. as they bickered, like married couples do. Nora declared the statement as meaningless. Vision countered by saying that it's all meaningless. To find meaning in something meaningless is what it means to be human. That is their mission, to strive for humanity. Ultron, his creator's mission, was to interpret with cold calculation. His vision, their vision, however, is a vision of the future. Time passed, as it always does, and the visions are assimilating into their neighborhood, some more quickly than others. As the twins, Vin and Viv, showed off their various abilities to the other children in their area, the young ones gathered around with cheers and screams of laughter. This pleased the twins. Laughter was seldom heard by the two of them. Virginia, the ever-doting mother, reprimanded them for wasting their solar energy. If they expelled all their energy playing these trivial games, then they would be up all night recharging. Typical children, never thinking about the future. And that's what they strive to be. Typical. Like a typical neighbor. A fan. Taking a picture with Vision to post on their social media. Or like a typical neighbor. A fan. Taking a picture of Vision to post on their social media. These are the things that Vision must deal with in hopes to blend in with society. Now that Vision's duties had begun at the White House, he himself felt a small bit of apprehension when he was informed by the president that he would not be receiving an official position with a salary. The Avengers, which have historically paid each of their members for time well spent, no longer offer wages and compensation. He feared for how long his savings would last him without any income coming in. Virginia, on the other hand, Virginia had not decided on a career as of yet. She spent much of her time alone, sitting on the living room couch, exploring the preloaded corners of her memory. It surprised her how often she would find a memory that would make her cry. In contrast, Vin and Viv spent most of their time in front of screens, gathering as much information as they could about the outside world. They often found themselves arguing, as siblings often do. There would even be times when the two children would come to blows. Vivian destroyed the better half of a staircase with an arid swing of an arm. Eventually, the first day of school arrived. Vin and Viv were given specific instructions on how to operate in public, and they were expected to obey. They were dutiful children, after all. Virginia told the children to mind their clothes. Clothes that can assimilate with their powers have become quite expensive. The children must always be aware of any looming danger that could possibly interrupt their quality of life. Vision interrupted by saying that the children need not worry about danger, for he is here. As long as he is around, the twins will be safe. He attempts to comfort them by saying that they need only worry about being adequate children. They are children and should remain children. This statement visibly perplexes Viv. If not a child, then what else would she be? As the children levitated into the sky and disappeared into the sun, Virginia waved them a solemn goodbye. She asked Vision again why the children must leave. Vision questioned Virginia on the current state of her central drive. Perhaps her playback function was malfunctioning. The thought of her husband's coldness clearly alarmed Virginia, and she snapped at him. He knew full well that she was operating at full capacity. She desired to hear the words again from him, directly. With a sigh, Vision stated that it would take more energy to argue than to simply concede. He began, "Our brainwaves, the basis of our lives, were taken from humans. The children's, as you know, were made from a combination of our patterns. The process of combining our two copies produced two improperly mature devices. Because of these abnormalities, Vin and Viv's brains must still grow, similar to how humans grow as teenagers. It's not complicated." "Not complicated? I fear you know too little of high school." Vision arranged for his children to attend Alexander Hamilton High School, a school known nationwide for its strict academics. The challenges and rigors that the attending students must face is said to be second to none. Children who attend this high school think of themselves to be the best, and it is said that no one is better. Previously, the Vision tried to explain the importance of schooling to his children. He stated that it's obvious that the two could remember any text or formula. However, the ability to combine these figures in a rhetoric into creative endeavors, this had to be learned. Facts without context are like individuals without society. Just as a person must find his or her own place in a society, or else they are useless. A fact must serve its point in an argument, or it serves no purpose. Some say, children can be so cruel. Certainly ones that think so highly of themselves. As Vin comes to realize, the children at the school are not so much like the kids from the neighborhood. Even when he's not intangible, he feels their eyes piercing him, judging him, silently asking themselves, what are these things? These freaks? Are they even normal? Eventually, the day ended, and the twins set off to head home. Vin, noticeably uncomfortable, asks Viv a question. "Yes, brother?" she responds as she looks back. As onlookers circle the twins and watch them depart in amazement, Vin's feet gently lift from the ground. "Am I normal?" A month later, Vision laid awake at night. Any person that we would consider normal would be fast asleep, both body and mind exhausted. Vision, however, does not require sleep in the same way we do. He does not sleep to recoup energy. His powers derive from the sun. However, he does do a system shutdown at night in order to sort through his memories and events of the previous day, eliminating any of which are deemed unessential. This is why he is disturbed when he is unexpectedly woken up at 3 a.m. He found himself in an unexpected dread, his thoughts transfixed on the moment he saw his wife's eyes open for the first time. Over and over, he saw the image of his wife's rising eyelids, her pupils glowing and receding like a camera lens adjusting to the light. And for some reason, a reason that he could not quite understand, this scared him. There was a glitch, he thought, a glitch in himself. This was his wife. He loved her. He must love her. Though he tried not to, his mind moved to the person whom he had taken the brainwaves for his wife. No, he thought, as he pushed the nonsense out of the forefront of his mind. He must remember that this is his wife, and he must love his wife. Though the next day was Saturday, Vision decided to head to Avengers headquarters in order to do some self-diagnostic testing. He told his family that he would be home for dinner. Virginia decided to make use of this free time by looking over the twins' schoolwork. She wanted to see not only what they were learning, but how they were learning it. Virginia's comments on a certain piece of schoolwork seemed to upset Viv. She got herself up from the table and moved towards the kitchen in order to make some distance between her and her mother. That's when the blade struck. As the cold steel pierced her flesh and internal organs, Viv let out a scream of pain and terror. As the frayed wires exposed themselves to the hole in her chest, she collapsed to the ground. "Mother?" She called out. She was going into shock, able to do little more than repeat her pleas for help. "Mother? Mother? Mother?" Her voice fades into a whisper as a black boot steps over her fetal body. Behold, the Grim Reaper. Born Eric Williams, brother to Simon Williams, the late Wonder Man, Eric has recently found himself in a dark place. Eric was a man of exceptional physical strength who was the opposite of his pacifist brother. When he became the Grim Reaper, he was awarded a coma-inducing scythe by way of Ultron, for which he was eternally grateful. However, like I said, Eric was in a dark place. His brother had passed. His brainwaves were then transferred into the dormant vision by Ultron, for which he was eternally displeased. He at one time even blamed the Avengers for this event. He had never liked Vision, a fake man in a fake body using his brother's brain to navigate this world. It's unnatural. They are unnatural. "Imposters!" he bellowed as he blew a hole into the kitchen wall. "You are all imposters!" He lunged with his scythe at Vin. Vin, out of reaction, raised his left arm to protect himself and nearly got it cut off. He lets out a scream in pain. "You are not my family!" The Grim Reaper cried from behind stifled tears. He clawed at Vin once more to finish what he started. "Simon is real. I am real." As Viv slowly loses consciousness, she whispers out, "Mother? Mother? Do you think I would not find you? Everywhere I look, I see you. Everyone is so eager to show their photos of that perfect family." As Vin trembled and fell to the ground, the Grim Reaper stepped closer, blinded by rage. He raised his sight to the air. "A family made from a stolen copy of my brother. When will you learn? The Vision is not Wonder Man. You are not my family. You are not real." As he prepared for the final blow, Virginia attacked. Using the cookie sheet that she had received as a gift from the neighbors previously, she struck Eric in the back of the skull. Blood escaped his mask in rapid fashion, as if a balloon had just popped, leaving everything that it was protecting to fly in different directions across the room. "No!" Virginia screamed. She must protect her family. She must end this threat. She raised her arm and slammed the tray again and again and again. "No!" she screamed with one final blow. "Mother!" Vin pleaded. "Mother! Mother! Please stop, he's..." Reality sets in for Virginia. As her hands tremble, the cookie tray became too heavy for her to handle, and it fell to the ground. What did I do?" As she looked around her broken kitchen, she saw the terrified eyes of her son and the fading eyes of her daughter. "Mother? Mother? Mother?" Virginia looked to her daughter for a moment, and then back to her son. After a long silence, she uttered, "Please do not tell your father." It's funny. The floating water vases of Zen law are always empty. The methanic sulfite that causes the water to levitate is poisonous to all known species of flowers. The mystery is then not why they are empty, but why anyone would make such a vase in the first place.